Hola a todos, hoy os quiero mostrar un video que encontré en lo más profundo del internet. Se trata de un corto que no dejó indiferente a nadie. Dado los suicidios que provocó este corto, fue borrado por el mismísimo Obama de toda la faz de la tierra. Antes de que deje paso a este angustioso video, quiero deciros que he puesto algunas anotaciones dentro del video para que podáis daros cuenta de los detalles imperceptibles para el ojo humano. Bueno, sin más dilación dentro video.
That day, around 50 teams from the southeast of England were taking part in a pre-season tournament at Aylesford in Kent. Among them were Bearsted under-10s, who were coached by Chris Hunt.
Out of the blue, it really teamed down to such an extent that puddles instantly formed across the football pitch.
The rain was very heavy. I mean, it was hurting when it hit you. It was hurting your face, your legs, your arms. You couldn't actually see up the pitch.
As the ref called the game off, I went to collect a large fishing umbrella.
The team ran to their kit bags under some trees to put on tracksuits and take shelter as best they could, but the storm was getting worse.
I put the fishing umbrella up and I just was normal team type talk. We'll be back on very soon, and sort of gave them all a pat on the back. They played particularly well when the lightning struck. You could feel the pull of electricity as it went through. I had the sensation that I was falling backwards.
You heard the loudest noise I've ever heard. It was like having concert speakers strapped to your ears. It was that loud. I saw my dad toppling over onto the floor by me, and I thought my dad was dead.
"17 people had been struck by a single bolt, delivering a massive electric shock. An electric shock often stops the victim's heart. Many of those hit were in cardiac arrest and would die if they didn't get help quickly. The lightning had also cut through clothes and shoes, badly burning many of the casualties. Peter Freeman was also badly injured. The lightning had burned through his clothing, but remarkably his son Richard was unhurt.
I just crawled over and I could feel the melted plastic, and it felt very hot. So I could see quite a few scorch marks around. I thought they'd been cut out because they were so precise and sharp.
People who minutes earlier had simply been watching a football tournament ran to help. Their actions could make the difference between life and death for the injured, but the only medically qualified person on duty was a St John's volunteer ambulance man, Paul Gray.
As I looked across and saw all these people laying down, that's when I realised we had a real emergency on our hands, and first priority was to find out those that were responding to people and those that were not.
As well as being badly burnt, Matthew Hunt's heart had stopped beating.
Over here, please.
I came across one young boy. He was not breathing and there was no pulse. He was technically not alive, so we had to start mouth-to-mouth resuscitation with compressions.
Paul knew they had just seconds to save Matthew. More and more boys were carried back to the community centre, many still unconscious. Inside, people did their best to revive them, but few had any knowledge of first aid. Richard Freeman was convinced that his father was dead. He stayed by his side.
When you lose your dad, I think you lose part of yourself as well.
Get under cover, quickly, we'll look after him. It's my dad! It's gonna be all right.
Kent Air Ambulance was the first of the rescue services to arrive. As the helicopter landed, Matthew Hunt was still fighting for his life.
Come on, breathe. Please
After about a minute, he started to cough, or he had gurglings in his throat. At first, I really didn't believe that that could be happening. But surely enough, yes, it was.
Matthew was the first of the casualties to be flown to Maidstone Hospital nearby.
The worst injured boy was Matthew Hunt.
He's stopped breathing now.
Has he?
Yeah.
Okay, can we start CPR, please?
He stopped breathing once on the football field, and then again when he came into the hospital. And that time they found that his heart had stopped.
One,
And where is...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, Peter. Do you know where you are?
Nearly an hour after the lightning strike, Peter Freeman started to regain consciousness.
When I found that he was alive, it was like winning the lottery. Everything you could possibly hope for would come true.
All those who were struck have now made a complete recovery. Even Matthew Hunt has no lasting injury, though he has no memory of the day itself.
I think we're very fortunate that such an event occurred at an organised tournament where there was presence of qualified first aid people. I believe if something similar to this happened on an isolated area, that there would definitely have been fatalities.
I think the one big lesson is to keep going, because with these children that stopped breathing, and some of whom whose heart stopped, the adults that were around, they never gave up on them, and we were able to resuscitate them, and happily they're all now living.